Good morning, y'all. Everybody hear me okay? Got some new mic placement here. Good morning, everybody. Shout out to Europe. It's a special little Europe stream because I got a bunch of European subscribers that can't watch my other streams because it's like really late at night. So this one is for you guys. Got some eggs and balls for breakfast today. What's new, right? Got my Cops t-shirt. You guys like my Cops t-shirt? This is a legit Langley Productions Cops t-shirt, man. This is a shout out to the best TV show of all time, which recently just got canceled. So yeah, really loving these balls, man. It's like a good just a good overall food. A lot of protein in it. Gives good energy. Doesn't taste too bad. It's got an interesting flavor. What's up, H the Human? Yeah, man, I thought I'd surprise you guys with a little morning stream. Yo, yo. What's up, Raw Meat? Out there getting a little exercise. Hope everybody's having a good morning. I might start alternating, doing like morning streams, night streams, stuff like that, because I know that it's like basically impossible for people in Europe to get on my evening streams. And also, I have a lot more energy in the mornings. It's actually easier for me to talk and find words and stuff like that in the morning. So I personally like the morning streams because I'm a little bit more chipper. Got a little bit more energy. I'm more of a social person in the morning than I am in the evening. My energy is kind of like it's really high in the morning and it just kind of goes all the way down the rest of the day. So I like the breakfast streams. But yeah, I just been overdosing on bull testicles over here. I got 20 pounds fresh yesterday. So I'm going to be eating basically nothing but testicles and grass-fed beef for about a month. And I'm probably just going to make testicles like a main part of my diet because what I get off of these things is it's just really healthy, man. Just like a really good testosterone boost and a good energy throughout the day. It's fantastic food, man. They're pretty tasty too. I like the texture of them, and they're not too tough or anything like that. What can I do if I have no access to high quality organ meats? You gotta look around, man. There's got to be something around you. I mean, there's farms everywhere, all over the world. You got to try to find a farmer. Go to eatwild.com, buy an animal, get the animal specifically processed so you can get the organs off of it. You can order them online. You can get mostly anything online nowadays. You gotta just look around, man. You know. And once you think you're done looking around, look around some more, and then look around some more. Like, I've been doing this for like 2 years, and I am still finding new suppliers and stuff like that. Go talk to people. Go talk to people at the grocery store. Go talk to your butchers. You got to go talk to people because I've found some really good sources of meat by just literally talking to people, word of mouth. I never would have known about them unless I just asked questions, you know. So you gotta just really put yourself out there, man, and start searching for this stuff. Morning, kitty cat. But yeah, it can be kind of a pain in the ass finding this stuff because it's almost like it's hidden. You know what I mean? Like, we don't live in a world where everybody gets their food from the farms. We live in a world where everybody gets their food from supermarkets. It's all ran by corporations. And so that's the most readily accessible food you can get is a supermarket. So when you're trying to get anything outside of the supermarket, it's hard to find, you know? So you just got to kind of look around and you got to dig deep, man. It's also very competitive because there's more junk food in the world right now than there is like healthy food. So when people like us start waking up to this diet and they start searching for good quality organ meats, grass-fed meats and stuff like that, it's very competitive, man. You know, like my Guernsey milk farmer, she, you know, she's constantly like sold out of milk, you know, because people are just like lined up for it. And I think same thing with the goat milk farmer in my area, even though she uses a lot of grains. I don't choose to drink it. She's also like just back ordered on goat milk, you know, because it's very competitive, man. Once people find like a good food supplier, they just latch onto them. What do testicles taste like? It's so hard to describe what raw foods taste like, man, because a lot of times they taste like nothing, you know? It's when you cook foods that it brings like all the flavors out and makes it intense. But I feel it's like kind of sweet. There's like a little bit of a sweet aftertaste to it. It's more textured, you know what I mean? Which is kind of the same thing with like eating brains. It's more of just like a texture, like an egg yolk texture. But testicles, the texture is like a scallop. It's just real like fleshy, real soft and fleshy. And it's got sort of like a sweet aftertaste to it. I'm trying to relate it to something. It's so hard to describe, man. I'm really bad at describing like foods and flavors and stuff like that. I either don't have the taste buds to describe it or I don't have the words to find to describe it. But a lot of these flavors in these raw foods, especially high meats and stuff, it's almost like hard. It's just impossible to articulate what it tastes like. What's up, Alejandro? Good morning, man. It is a lot like a scallop, definitely. It's the closest. Oh, I almost forgot my music. Just a sec, guys. Gotta have the music, man. That was probably a little loud. How's the sound on the music now? Sound on the music good? Thumb up. What's What's up, Jason Bateman? Raw testicle tastes similar to raw egg yolk, but more mild. Let me toss one down and see. There's something to that, yeah. It is a little eggy, you're right. A little bit of egg in there. With 20 pounds of balls, how are you storing them? Fridge or freezing? How long can they keep in the fridge? I'm just throwing them in the fridge, man. I'm not too worried about food going bad as long as it's got air to it. It seems like food goes bad when you like reseal it over and over and over and over again and you contain all the oxygen inside of it. But it seems to be okay. Most food seems to be okay. If you just kind of, what I do is I like just open the bag and then I leave the meat or whatever just kind of in its own juices in the bottom of the bag and I just kind of let air get to it as, you know, through the top of the bag. And I think it can be good for like up to a month in the fridge, you know, without getting too funky. But I got about 20 pounds of balls and I'm eating about 28 ounces of meat every day. So it's roughly 2 pounds. So, I mean, that's only about 10 pounds of food, or 10 days of food, I mean. Yeah, the more I get into this diet and start eating high meat and stuff like that and just getting back to my more natural state. There's an ant just walking around my house right now. I just saw him walk up my wall right here. He went all the way around my computer. Now he's walking on my desk. I'll let him live. But, yeah, the more I get into this diet, the more I get my body back to a natural state, the less I'm concerned about food, like, getting just, like, funky in the fridge, you know what I mean? Because it's really just, I know people that put all of their food in jars in the fridge. They'll buy, like, a whole like, quarter bison, which is, like, 90 pounds of meat. And they'll put them all in jars and just eat it out of jars over the course of, like, a month or two. And just let it get, like, super stinky. So it just depends on how well your body is adapted to eating more like fermented meat and stuff like that. But as far as I know, the meat can't get harmful unless you're containing it inside of something and not giving it air for like long periods of time. No, I don't watch InfoWars. I find Alex Jones kind of annoying. It's just a personal thing. I mean, it's not really like, he pushes a lot of fear and despair, you know what I mean? He's a little bit too high energy for me. If you can't tell, I'm a pretty chill guy. Do I dry age all my meats? You know, I found actually some interesting stuff about dry aging. When you're dry aging like roasts, which is what I was doing, like 4-pound like primal cuts, 5-pound cuts and stuff, it got almost too dry after like 2 to 4 weeks. It got too dry. And so it almost like wasted some of it. So I did an experiment last winter where I dry aged a quarter hind end, or it was like an entire hind end of a hog, and I just put it on a big rack. It was gigantic. It was huge. It was like this big. And I put it on a rack in my garage in the wintertime where it was like a constant, 30, 40 degrees or something like that, right? And it dry aged fine. The outside of it got a little dry, but the inside of the meat was perfect. So I discovered that basically dry aging meat is best if you're dry aging gigantic cuts of the animal. And that way you can just kind of slice it off as you need it because there's less oxygen getting to the meat. right? Whereas if you cut everything into primal cuts, like roasts, like I did, and then put it on racks in a dry aging fridge, it gets too dry. It gets too dry over the course of like 2 to 4 weeks. But I dry aged that pig hind for like 2 months at least, and it was perfect. So I'm not sure what to make of dry aging at this point. I have like a really nice dry aging setup. It's cool for like 2 to 4 weeks, right? But anything over that, it gets a little crispy. So I don't know. I'm still experimenting with the whole meat storage thing. Like, you know, I might just have to start freezing again, especially if we come up to like some kind of meat shortage or something like that. I might actually buy like a half a cow and store like 100 pounds in my freezer, and then I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do about that because I can't dry age 100 pounds. I don't have that much space, you know. So if you gotta freeze it, you gotta freeze it. That's the thing, you know, especially if you're like trying to stock up for some kind of shortage. Yeah, I leave my butter out on the counter. Yep. I get like 10 pounds of butter at a time. I store like 9 pounds in the fridge. And I put like a pound on my counter. And it stays there for sometimes like 2-3 weeks. It increases the flavor. Yeah, vegan dudes are crazy, Danny. Yeah. We already know vegan people are pretty insane, dude. Yeah, that's a pretty insane thing for him to say. Just the name Joey Carbstrong, you can just tell the guy's kind of goofy. Yeah, they say we support the Holocaust, yet that is exactly what they want for animals. Yeah, they're hypocrites, man. You'll find that most people in the world that are on the side of evil, they're big-time hypocrites, you know? Because they act like they're supporting the side of good, but they're doing the exact same thing that they're claiming that they're speaking out against. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. Jason says, so it's better to leave the container cracked to receive air than to seal completely in the fridge. It depends on how long you're storing it in there. Like, you can experiment with it and see what you like best, but I do find that it seems like the sealed bags get more funky than if you let it get air. Is it fine to eat raw organs after they've been frozen? Yeah, for sure. You into cheese? Love that goat cheese. I love cheese, man. Yeah, I eat a lot of cheese. Yep. If I could, I would get goat cheese, but I can't remember. They were either out where I ordered or they didn't have it. But yeah, I'm a big fan. Big fan of cheese. I usually eat cheese with a little piece of fruit for my lunch. Does it take time to get used to raw meats? Not. I mean, it depends on what you're eating. It took me like A whale. It took me a little while to get used to eggs, raw eggs. Took me a little while to get used to liver. Took me a little while to get used to high meat. What else? Brain. First couple times I ate brain, it was a little weird. But after that, now I just gobble that stuff down, you know? Anytime you try like a new part of the animal, it can be a little weird. But after like a few times of eating it, it's nothing. But I enjoyed raw steaks right off the get-go, man. I remember looking back on it, like my first couple raw steaks, it was a little weird, for sure. But it was nothing. It was not nothing where I was like gagging like uncontrollably and like barfing because I couldn't stand it. It was just a little off, you know. But you know, when you're polluting your body for decades with sugar and all your taste buds are messed up and all your stomach acid's messed up and all your organs are damaged and just you got to get your body into a natural state again to where you know you can eat stuff like that and it just doesn't bother you. Because that's the way we're supposed to be. You're supposed to just be able to eat anything off the animal raw. What's up, Jeff? Watched Apocalypto. Wondered why they valued the heart and liver they killed but made eating the balls to be a sick joke. I don't remember that part. I'll have to watch it again. That might be my favorite movie of all time. I don't know. It's just something about that movie, man. I think it's because it's all in dialogue, like none of it's actually like spoken in English, so it really like draws your imagination into it because there's no verbal distraction going on, you know. It's all just kind of like a visual display. They probably just did that just for the sake of the movie. I doubt Mel Gibson went and studied the Incas or the Aztecs or whoever that movie is about for 5 years before he made the movie, you know what I mean? Have you eaten raw pork? Yeah, I had some raw pork. It's pretty good. I've eaten raw bacon a bunch. Raw bacon is great, man. I think iron overload is real. I think it's a real thing. That's why I started eating more chicken. And I actually started donating blood to help lower my iron levels a little bit. And it's actually working. I'm tracking my hemoglobin in my blood right now through blood donations. It's a good way to lower your iron, man. Donate blood. And also switch to chicken. So yeah, I think it's a legitimate concern for sure. The opening scene. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while. I'll have to check that out. I bet it's just for cinematic, dramatic effect. You know what I mean? Who knows though, man? Every tribe is different. You know what I mean? Every tribe has its own customs and cultures, and you know. Do I drink raw blood? I have drank raw blood. Whenever I get a lamb slaughtered, I eat everything off the lamb. I eat the blood, I eat the brains, the liver, everything. It's actually pretty good, man. It's pretty delicious. Very satiating. Excuse me. Danny says, are you more for stoicism or whatever that word is, Epicureanism? I don't know what Epicureanism is, but I know I'm definitely a stoic, if it's not obvious. What's your opinion on honey? I love raw honey. I mix raw honey with my milk at night. Raw milk. Tomika, hi. What do you think about homemade bone broth to get additional nutrients from non-edible parts? Thanks, really like your channel. If you can stomach it, go for it. Excuse me. So I found that when I made bone broth, and I would do like a real slow brews for like a couple days. So who knows? I might have been cooking it too long or something. But I didn't digest it right. It just didn't seem right because it's actually cooked food at that point, you know? Even though I had it on low in the crock pot, like I would test the temperature and it was getting like super hot. So I found that when I drank it, it just kind of, it was hard to digest. So I quit drinking bone broth personally. If you don't find any digestive issues with it and you're fine with eating a cooked food, you know, then yeah, you can go for it for sure. But my health seems to be fine from just eating all these regular foods that I eat, so that's up to you. I wonder if men are more susceptible to iron alone. I heard it's like Northern European people of Northern European descent, because something about, I don't know, we had some sort of adaptation where we were able to store iron more effectively than other people. And so, excuse me. And so we have like a gene or some kind of adaptation where we can like store iron more efficiently than other people. Maybe it has something to do with the long winters where we wouldn't have been able to hunt or get food as easily. God Meat says, why would you want to lower iron? Look up the evidence on that, man. I mean, it's all just research at this point. I don't really have any like personal experience to tell you. Like, yeah, I was high on iron and I felt like shit. But I can tell you that there is a overwhelming wealth of information out there that iron is extremely damaging to your body if it comes in high levels in your body, to your organs and stuff like that. Just check it out. Just Google, iron damaging the body, iron damaging organs, iron overload, and you'll just find pages and pages and pages and pages of research on it. So there's something to it for sure. And I haven't taken a deep dive on it, but I looked into it pretty well, enough to convince myself to start eating more chicken and start donating blood. And I feel better, man. I do. I think I feel better. Because I was eating way too much iron. When I first started this diet, when I went on the whole carnivore bandwagon, which you got to be careful about, guys, because you got people like Sean Baker promoting eating 4 pounds of ribeyes a day, which is, I don't think you want that much iron in your body, man. So I was doing that same thing, and I was eating like 3 pounds of chuck roast every single day, and that's all I was eating. And I think I kind of felt like shit. If you look back at some of my earlier channel videos on my Natural Human Diet Archive channel, I'm definitely way healthier nowadays. And, a lot of that is because I've healed my body and, also got my like root canal tooth removed and stuff like that. But I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that my diet is a lot more variety now. I got a lot more fish, a lot more chicken, all that good stuff. So it's not just like red meat. People that just eat red meat all day, that's a little crazy, man. Epicurean is a lover of pleasure. Oh yeah, I'm definitely a stoic. Definitely a stoic for sure. Stoics deny all their natural desires. Yeah, I try to, for sure. I'm all about discipline, man, for sure. I'm the happiest when I'm disciplined. I'm at the most peace when I'm extremely disciplined with everything. Oh, okay. Yeah. Stoic versus Epicurean. God Meat says, I really dislike bone broth. My body don't like it. Yeah, it's weird. I kind of found that too. Anime? No, I don't think I've ever watched anime. Danny B, I cringe when I hear about iron overload because of Tufano. Yeah, he's a little paranoid about it. Corn Baker. It's Sean Banker. Trying to sell you grills, buddy. Sweat out the iron. Yeah, I think that's one way to get rid of it. Eat enough copper. Yeah, you gotta eat those micronutrients. Yeah, Tufano's a mess, dude. Tufano's a mess, dude. He's trying to heal like personal problems with like food. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever problems that Frank Tufano has in his life, diet is not going to fix it. Let's just put it that way. That's why you're just gonna see him go in these like circles of just, you know, neuroticism and switching his diet over and over again. Kind of like the same thing Vegetable Police does. You know what I'm saying? You guys notice I've never done that in the 2 years I've been on YouTube. I'm not doing this like weird back and forth like blah blah blah. The only major shift I did is I went from carnivore to eating more fruit. Like, ooh, that's such a dramatic change. It's because I'm doing other things in my life too, besides diet, to correct my life. You know what I mean? To fix myself. Life is way more about diet than anything. Like, if you get stuck on diet, you're missing like a huge part of life. You know? You're supposed to use diet to heal your body, heal your mind on a physical level, so then your spirit has a healthy home to live in. You know what I'm saying? And that way your spirit can grow, and then you can use that as a jump off point to do what you're really supposed to do in life. You know what I mean? I highly doubt that God brought anyone on earth to just be like a dietitian. You know what I'm saying? Because it's such a basic fundamental component of life that it's just like teaching someone how to breathe oxygen or like drink water, or, you know what I mean? It's like, it's interesting because it's like this part of diet, the natural human diet, is hidden from society because they're trying to push all this junk food on us and stuff like that. But once you get that information out to the world, it's like you got to move on. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, but I'm still learning. You know what I'm saying? I haven't really reached my point to where I'm like, I know everything that I need to know about food or whatever. Like, I'm still learning. That's why I'm still on here on YouTube. That's why I still talk to everybody and create this community, because amazingly enough, I'm almost 2 years into this. I just recently started eating raw chicken. I just discovered brains and testicles and eyeballs, and you know, I'm just like, there's all these different little like side pathways that I'm like finding. You know, it's like I'm on the main road to health, but I'm seeing all these different little avenues that are kind of like interesting me at this point too. So it's definitely a rabbit hole. You can get sucked into it, but the key is to fix your personal life on top of your diet at the same time. You know, like quitting drinking, quitting smoking weed, you know, stuff like that. Quitting watching pornography. All of like the main problems that like young men have today, basically. The key is to quit all that shit, as well as get your diet in check, so your entire body grows together, you know, and your spirit. Yeah, some people just need to hit a rock bottom. Some people have not hit a rock bottom in their life, and so you got to hit that rock bottom first in order to build yourself back up. I'm in my mid-30s. Danny B says, true, most people in the health community is neurotic because once you figure it out and wake up, you get so fed up with everyone's schizophrenia. Yeah, it's really tough, dude. Like, there's a lot of crazy people in the diet obsession world, I guess. But I try to be patient with people, you know what I mean? Because I understand that, like, you know, I was a little crazy too a few years ago from my diet and just everything. So I try to have patience and like understanding and compassion for people. But yeah, it gets to a point where it's like, that's why I like just anytime I see like a gamma on my channel, I just ban them right away because it's like, look at like Tufano's streams, you know what I mean? Like the guy's got like 1,000 subscribers and like 100,000 subscribers and like, you know, 900,999 are gammas on his live streams. You know what I mean? Like 99% of the people on his live streams are just annoying people, you know? I would rather have a much smaller community. Plus the chat, you know, we only got 27 people in here, but the chat like moves at a steady pace. It's readable. Yeah, I'm not sure on the food share Discord yet. I believe I have someone trying to help me build a website. So I'm going to check in back with him pretty soon here and see if there's any information on the website. So it's going to be more of like a forum type thing. And if we can't get a forum going, then maybe we'll do like a Discord. But I think a website would be a lot easier for a lot of people, so they don't have to download like the Discord app and stuff like that. They can just go type in the website and go there. But hopefully, yeah, I'm guessing, I'm not trying to push anything, but in the next couple months, try to get like a central place where all the people in the food trading group can get together and talk about stuff. And excuse me, I'm still detoxing out of my lungs, guys. I quit smoking weed last year, and I'm still detoxing my lungs. If you guys smoke or smoke weed, quit that shit right away. But yeah, anyways, but yeah, we got good news on the food club, man. We got over 20 people on it now. Yeah, that's one of the biggest reasons I quit smoking weed, OG Reinhard, is because I felt like it was lowering my testosterone. It was lowering like my sex drive and like, you know, just my desire to just do a lot of normal shit in life. You know what I mean? I think weed really does mess your hormones up. It's almost like a female. It's almost like, I've heard someone say this before and it made a lot of sense. It's like when you smoke weed, you have the mind of the female plant. You have the female plant mind, because plants are kind of like female. You can look at the world in like a male, yin-yang, male-female type mentality. And it's almost like plants are female because they're like Mother Earth, you know? And animals are kind of male in a way. I don't know, it's interesting stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't mess with weed, guys, because, you know, especially if you're not like growing it yourself, they're spraying all sorts of shit on that weed, man. Even if you're getting it from dispensaries, they're spraying all sorts of shit on it. You have no idea what it's doing to your hormones. Everybody abuses the hell out of it nowadays. We have no idea like what it's here for. We think we do. You know, there's some definite medicinal effects, but everybody abuses the shit out of it, you know? It doesn't matter where you go, everybody uses way too much. Like, you don't even need like a joint, you know what I mean? You just need like literally like 2 or 3 hits of weed, and then you just like take a break for like 20 minutes and see what that happens. But nobody ever does that, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's just, everybody's abusing the shit out of it, and they're getting messed up. Hey, what's up, Luna? Yep, I made this stream for you guys. For the European folks. Weed made me paranoid and hedonistic, for sure. Yeah, weed was hard for me to quit, too. I wanted to quit weed for like years and years, man. But it just was one of those things that, I don't know, it just kind of was like latched onto me. It was strange. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm detoxing my lungs, guys. But once I get away from it, and I've done this twice in my life, I've quit weed twice. Once I get away from weed, I almost find it repulsive. It's interesting, man. I go from being obsessed with it to finding it repulsive. So it's almost like it's a different type of spirit inside of you when you're underneath the influence of these drugs that is not you, and it drives you to use the drug more. Once you get rid of that spirit out of inside of you, then you stop desiring that drug. You know? It's almost like people on drugs are possessed. Luna says, yes, it's a female plant, like a siren luring people in. Absolutely. Yeah, weed is very seductive. Same thing with like opiates, heroin. Right, yeah, Chicken Jar nailed it. Yeah, weed buds are actually the female ovaries of the weed plant. Exactly, guys. You're smoking the female ovaries of a weed plant. Boris says, alright, I quit weed starting today. Dude, it's the best thing you'll ever do. If you don't need it for like a medical condition, if you don't have epilepsy. I actually had epilepsy, guys. I've never been diagnosed of it, but I've had seizures and stuff. So I believe that's why I became such a crazy pot smoker, because it was actually reducing the electrical activity in my brain, and it was helping me think better and just socialize and stuff like that, because I wasn't like just in a constant seizure state. So yeah, if you have epilepsy or anything like that, like, you know, weed might actually be a good thing for you. But what would be better for you is to correct your diet, quit eating grains, sugars, stuff like that, to stabilize the electrical disturbances in your brain, stop the seizures that way, and then quit your medicine after that, which is exactly what I did. A male weed plant can destroy the whole crop. I know, isn't that interesting? That's an interesting interpretation of plants. I've never heard anyone say that. Yeah, I got that from someone else, and it just instantly rang true to me. You know what I mean? Another interesting thing about plants is shamans say that when you put a plant through a laboratory, it kills the spirit of the plant. So if you are to use any sort of plant medicines from God that are grown in earth, you're not supposed to run it through a laboratory and turn it into a concentrate or a powder or something like that, because it actually kills the spirit of the plant. Yeah, weed casted a spell on me. That's a good way to put it, dude. Weed does cast a spell on you. Share your thoughts on bullying. You don't want to know what I think about bullying. I got bullied. I bullied people. It's called the pecking order, man. Deal with it. If you don't like being bullied, start lifting weights and eating raw meat and start beating everybody up. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's just the way the world is, man. Sometimes, you know, I don't believe in violence, but sometimes fighting does solve everything. You know, you just can't be a pussy. There's a lot of people getting bullied nowadays, especially through the media. You see it, and you know. There was some guy. I was at a hardware store, and there was two guys. They had a table outside on the sidewalk, and they were trying to raise money for bullying awareness. And I almost laughed at them, dude. They gave me this like big long sales pitch, and then they showed me like a picture of this kid. They're like, "This is Billy. Billy got bullied at school, and then he killed himself. Would you like to donate money to our organization?" And I was like, "Nah, I'm just not interested, man." And he kind of looked at me, gave me this funny look, and he was like, "You know, you could just donate like $1 or something." And I was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm okay. Thanks, man." And I just walked away. But I just like, if that's not the most retarded thing I've ever heard in my life, give money to a random organization and they're going to somehow stop bullying. Like, the most natural, instinctual male behavior that's ever existed and will always be here and will never go away. It's called the pecking order, man. Even chickens do it. All animals do it. It's ridiculous to try to take something like that away. It establishes the hierarchy. It's called the male social sexual hierarchy, and it's always been here and it always will be here. And it's how males order themselves into groups. It's how armies are made. It's how work organizations are made. It's how CEOs become CEOs. It's how bosses become bosses. It's how the grunt workers become the grunt workers. This is all done through these, behaviors that they call bullying, but it's really just natural human behavior, you know? And it does happen more within males, I think, than females, because males tend to structure themselves in a hierarchy versus where male or females typically don't, you know? So, yeah, I think it's pretty natural, you know? Being mean to people is like, that's not cool. But, establishing yourself in a hierarchy, because I do believe that life is a competition. Everything's an obvious competition. I mean, if you don't believe life is a competition, you're totally missing the obvious points, man. Animals go around and bite each other's heads off for dinner. You tell me that's not a competition? You know? Danny B says, that makes sense about the feminine spirit in the same way people today go back and forth with their toxic ex-girlfriend. Yeah, that's what people do with drugs. Absolutely, man. It becomes like an emotional thing. Once you get like too emotionally into stuff, it becomes an issue. Chicken Jar says, this channel helped me quit weed too. Thanks. You guys helped me quit weed too. You know? Because I felt like, I started feeling like a hypocrite, you know? Especially when I looked up what pushed me to quit smoking weed. I always wanted to quit for myself, you know what I mean? Because I knew that, like, you can't fully become a man unless you are sober from all drugs and alcohol. Because you can't protect your tribe, and you can't protect your babies and your family and your wife if you're constantly stoned and drunk all day, right? So you need to be sober, you need to be alert. And I always knew that, and I always knew that it was like holding me back in a way. But what pushed me to quit smoking weed was I looked up the pesticide content of the cannabis that I was sourcing. And it was all medical cannabis. And it was like astonishing how many chemicals they allowed to be sprayed on this weed, man. So it really, really made me feel like a hypocrite because I was on this whole toxin, chemical-free diet type thing where I'm supposedly detoxing my body and I'm supposedly in this like pure, physical existence. But I was inhaling pesticides and metals. We're not even onto the metals, guys. Cannabis and hemp is like so full of toxic metals, it's scary. Once you look that up too, you'll never go back on it. Like, it sucks. It's a shitty revelation to have because it really feels good to be on weed. But once you realize that, that whole like out of it feeling that you get when you smoke too much pot, that could be heavy metals flooding your brain. So just think about that next time you're stoned. Yeah, Aajonus recommended if you have to use cannabis to chew it raw with some butter or something, or some cheese. Yeah, I can tolerate cucumbers and let's see, let me go back to your comment here, sorry. Yeah, cucumber's a fruit, so yeah, I can tolerate that. I don't eat vegetables. I can eat some potatoes. I can eat like a potato every once in a while, but I don't really crave them anymore. It's weird. I ate them for like a couple weeks, but I don't really crave much potatoes. And I don't really do the vegetable juices either. I did it for like a couple days. It's a lot of work, and it just didn't seem like it did a whole lot. I doubt Aajonus smoked pot, but I bet he ate it for sure. He lived in California, man. WT says, after this wake and bake, I'm done. Yeah, Luna's right. Yeah, she says, don't put pressure on yourself. Literally, when you want to smoke, ask yourself, do I really need this right now? So don't. Yeah, the thing is the way that you quit weed, guys, is once you're starting to like load the bowl or load the bong or get ready or whatever, become aware of what you're doing. That's the whole key. Is you don't go into that trance that you go into whenever you're getting ready to get high, where you go into this like trance and you start to kind of like disconnect yourself from the moment and just get like all into it. Don't get all into it, right? And then also don't judge yourself. Never judge yourself for smoking weed. Or if you want to quit alcohol, that's how you quit alcohol too. Stop judging yourself, because judging yourself on being a pothead or being a drinker is what's actually making you go back to smoke more and drink more, because you're being too hard on yourself. It's not up to you to judge yourself. That's between you and God, you know? So just don't get all into it. Don't get all emotionally attached to it while you're doing it, and then stop judging yourself for doing it, and it'll be so easy to quit. You'll be like, why was this so hard? And I was making it more hard on myself. How do you heal hypothyroidism? I don't know about the carnivore diet. I do the raw primal diet, so I eat a lot of like fruit and stuff like that. So I would recommend doing raw primal over carnivore. But it's just naturally, you can eat thyroid, eat raw thyroid, that'll help you. But the diet will naturally kind of restore all your hormones and stuff like that. But a way you can make it faster is by eating raw thyroid. Yeah, what I did is I stopped vaporizing and I started eating edibles. So that way I wasn't like constantly like, doing the hand to mouth thing all day long. I completely quit vaporizing, and I went to eating a little bit of butter, cannabis butter at the end of the night. And then I just slowly weaned off the cannabis butter. Yeah, fighting's pretty natural, dude. Fighting, look at our fists. You think these things weren't designed to fight? You know what I mean? These are like punching sticks. Yeah, bullies do keep egos in check for sure. It's a way to keep your ego in check, and it's also a way to test people's egos, and because no man wants to be in like an army or a tribe with another man that has a weak, fragile ego, right? Because they constantly got to worry about what they're saying around the guy, and like guys in their natural state are very much like teasing and joking all the time and like messing with each other. That's how men naturally are, right? But there's a lot of people that are real soft and snowflakey, and when you tease them or whatever, they take it the wrong way. And so that's kind of where bullying gets misunderstood, is because it's almost like it's natural teasing that gets taken the wrong way by an overly sensitive man. You know what I mean? But yeah, no man wants to be inside of a tribe or an army with another man that has a fragile ego. So that's why men are constantly testing each other's egos to see who they want to order up inside of their hierarchy, and be basically a part of a group. Whoops. Luna says, how come mostly dumb, loud people bully smarter kids that turn out to be leaders? I don't know about that. Mostly dumb, loud people bully smarter kids that turn out to be leaders. Well, they're probably, I mean, if they're dumb, if they're legitimately dumb, they're probably intimidated by intelligence. I've definitely gotten that in my life for sure. Because people have, guys have detected that I'm like a lot smarter than them. So yeah, I've been teased for that for sure, definitely. So I think it's just the thing is though, I don't know. It just kind of depends on. There's a lot of different situations that can happen with that. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the like alpha males or men that represent the spirit of the alpha male. You know what I mean? Which are actually the true leaders in the world. See, we live in a society that overly elevates intellectualism, and that's why you have so many like nerds running the world, like Bill Gates, because we live in a backwards society that elevates intellectual nerds and it lowers down alpha males like Donald Trump. And so that's why I think when people see the spirit of the alpha male come out, right, that maybe not is so much of an intellectual, but has just more of the spirit of courage or the spirit of being a fighter, which is actually what a real man is. It comes off as different because the whole society is structured in a way to where our education system is elevating intellectuals, if that makes sense. So, that's kind of the way that I take that situation. We live in a backward society, let's put it that way. It's all about the spirit, it's not about the mind. Luna says, I think they subconsciously feel threatened and try to socially weaken their position. Well, yeah, like, alpha males are constantly in a vulnerable state because, like I was saying, like, the education system and stuff like that, it's not to produce alpha males. You know what I mean? The education system produces the opposite. It produces beta males. It produces little beta males, and I shouldn't say beta because I'm watching too much Jesse Peterson. Gamma males. Intellectual and education systems produce gamma males, right? And alpha males see them legitimately as weaker people, because they don't have courage, they're not fearless, they're not big and strong, like actual legit advantageous traits in the animal world, Being just smart, being just a smarty pants that's not like a real advantage, Because when it comes down to like getting in a fight or protecting yourself physically or surviving in the wild, you know what I'm saying? Like all those books you read and all that shit it's not gonna help you at all. Email says, I looked closely at the ingredients of CBD and the B was bullshit. Isn't it cannabidiol? Oh, I guess you're making a joke. Yeah, it's cannabidiol, but yeah, I don't know. But I mean, CBD I think is good for relaxing the nervous system, and it helps for like epilepsy and stuff like that. But I think, the thing is, guys, is I think a lot of this epilepsy and shit like that comes from like eating a natural or an unnatural diet in the first place, and probably stuff like vaccines and shit like that. Like if we lived in a society that didn't overly vaccinate, and we had like natural foods and stuff like that, everybody wouldn't need to smoke CBD for all of their ailments. You know what I'm saying? Danny B says, yeah, the stereotypical bully usually isn't a leader. They're usually someone like Frank Tufano as a kid and then grow up to be crazy. Not in my experiences. Excuse me. In my experiences, like in school, the bully was pretty popular guy, really popular guy. Very big football player. Really funny. That's part of it. Most bullies are really funny. And so that's what it starts out with, is it starts out with like joking around, you know. They're basically like always joking, you know what I mean? But it can like come off kind of mean. But yeah, the stereotypical bullies in my school were like really popular guys, very big dudes, football player types. Luna says, for some reason my comment gets deleted. Sometimes they moderate on here. I'm not deleting anyone's comments, but sometimes YouTube does that. I don't know. That's weird. Sylphwave says there's a lot of entitled millennial kids leaving school. These guys who've never took a punch or been in confrontation. It's a humbling experience. Oh yeah, definitely. I've been bullied, definitely. I was bullied by that very same dude I just described to you, you know what I mean? But I've also known him since I was like 14 years old. But he also bullied me a little bit too. It's like, it's just, this is what men do, you know what I mean? If you're afraid of that, then you're not going to make it through life, you know what I mean? Because life is like way more hardcore than just a little bit of bullying, you know? Excuse me. Sylphwave says, my wife suddenly developed a nut allergy the week after her mandatory vaccines for becoming a nurse. That's crazy, man. I've heard that about peanuts and stuff. It's because they're shooting like peanut proteins into you or something like that. That's insane, dude. Makes you wonder if that's what all allergies come from, you know? Do you drink milk, Luna? Milk seems to help me sleep pretty well, right before bed especially. Like a little bit of milk and honey. By the way, guys, if you want to get on the Primal Food Club list, or the stream notification list, or a private Skype consultation, email me. 88668protonmail.com. Sorry about that. Yeah, exactly, Raw. I mean, just see bowling as a game. It's a challenge. It becomes very fun. Exactly. It's a challenge. It's mind over matter, dude. That's all bowling is it's mind over matter. It's all about how far you can get pushed without getting offended or becoming violent on somebody. And it's all about how far you can push somebody else without offending them or making them violent. That's what it's all about. That's what testing your ego is all about. And ideally, in a perfect world of being a perfect person, you shouldn't have an ego at all. So nothing should ever offend you. Like as Jesse Lee Peterson says, man, don't ever let any words move you. No matter what the words are, don't ever let them move you. And you'll see what I mean. Bowling is an illusion. It's all in your head. Yeah, bowling is a way to grow, for sure. It toughens you up. I find it crazy that that's like a social issue today. Like bullying? Come on, man. That's so stupid. It's almost a joke, dude. You know? It's almost like a bad movie. Is Manuka honey a lie? I saw some at Whole Foods in a plastic bottle. Why are they selling it in plastic? I don't know what Manuka honey is. What's that? Yeah, guys, we're not going to get mandatory vaccines. Don't. That's just. This is just a buzzword, guys. The media invents these buzzwords to freak people out. You know? There's too many people that want to push fear and despair, make you think, everybody's going to take the meat away, there's going to be mandatory vaccines, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we might be a little bit short on meat, but it's not where you're going to starve, you know? And there might be some vaccines, but they're not going to come track you down. You think they're going to find every single person that lives in the country on every hillside and every shack and go stick a vaccine in them? It doesn't make any sense, dude. They don't have the resources and the time and the people to do all that. You just don't answer your door. You know what I mean? And there's too many people that live off the grid, or you could just go live off the grid to where they couldn't threaten to take away like your, bank or your job or something like that. Just go work on a freaking farm or something, man. There's plenty of stuff to do. It's the people that are stuck in these unnatural job positions working in corporations, where they got like salaries and pensions and, health insurance and all this like just shit that you don't need basically. And they're worried that if they don't take a vaccine, they're going to lose their job or something. And it's like, well, maybe you should get a more natural occupation, That's not so like linked in with the matrix. I swear you look like Santa. You like my beard? You like my Santa beard? Cassandra says, do you think the dietary needs of men and women vary? More carbs, or can the exact same thing? I think it can be pretty similar with men and women, but women might need just a little bit more iron because they bleed. But yeah, I don't think there's really a difference between men and women's diet, for sure. I never saw any evidence of that in the Weston Price's books or Aajonus' books that I can remember. But when women are pregnant, obviously it gets a little different. You want to get more organs in there and stuff like that. Brandon Esteban says it was mama jokes when I was growing up, and the person that got offended loses. Exactly. It was mama jokes for sure. Why do people tend to crave cold beverages rather than hot or room temp? I think it's because if you were to drink out of like a stream or something like that, the water would have been cool. It would have been cold. I actually prefer colder water. I started refrigerating my water. I prefer it better over room temp, so I just drink cold water now. And if you think about it, out of a stream it's cold, right? It's natural. Milk probably supposed to be warm, but water probably supposed to be cold. Can you legally call something yogurt if it's not made from dairy? You can't in Europe. Legally? From what I know, I don't think I've heard of anything besides dairy called yogurt. Getting offended is not the result of insult or the insulter. It's you allowing yourself to be so. Exactly. Yeah. Stop being so offended. If you weren't insecure about yourself, you wouldn't be offended, Do you think high meat heals depression? I've seen a lot of evidence it does. I mean, it's anecdotal, but it makes sense to me, man. I actually start smiling when I start holding a high meat jar in my hand. That's how much power it has over my just kind of happiness. Just cracking open that jar puts like a grin on my face. So my body already has a visceral reaction to just holding high meat in my hand, Why do you think toxic foods like salt and garlic taste good only in small amounts? Shouldn't it taste shitty in any amounts so you spit it out? Well, I don't think they're necessarily toxic, for one thing. There's actually a lot of evidence that garlic is like almost like a herbal medicine. So you got to look that up for one thing. And then also salt contains sodium, which is a vital component of your body to make your systems work correctly. So just because it's in rock form doesn't mean that your body recognizes that it's bad for you right away, you know, because it actually contains things that your body needs. Cassandra says, I agree about the mandatory vaccine thing, but I can see my college pushing them. I'll try to avoid it or maybe have to transfer. Yeah, I would drop out of college if someone tried to tell me I had to take a vaccine. It just doesn't make any sense, you know? It goes against everything that college should be teaching you. They should be teaching you to be a free thinker, that we have our own personal rights, etc., you know? You could always try to take like online classes if you don't want to do like a vaccine and be around people. But yeah, I don't see that happen for sure. Who do you see eating garlic and salt alone? People neurotic about their health. Zona says, I've already told my girlfriend that when she's pregnant she's gonna have to man up and start eating more organs. She's getting there, to be fair, for sure. It's the way to do it. You gotta warn them ahead of time. Eat raw meat says, I only drink cold fluids now. Yeah, it seems logical, right? If you're gonna drink out of a stream, it's gonna be a cool stream. Yeah, room temp. Yeah, it didn't seem right. Yeah, high meat will replace weed and so will testicles for sure. Do I air out the high meat every 5 days? I would go like every 3 to 5 days. Maybe we need cold foods in the summer because we drink water in the summer, but we drink warm in the winter like milk and blood. That does make sense. I drink a lot more milk in the winter. We would never drink water in the winter. That actually makes logical sense, yeah. Because like the rivers and the streams would be like frozen. Too cold. Does making high meat with grain-fed beef liver bad? That's a good question. That's a good question. I probably wouldn't do it. Sylph Wave says, my cats won't touch still water. It has to be running from the tap. I think animals are naturally wary of stagnant water. Sounds about right, man. Can you talk about laundry detergent and its effect on hormones? I read a study from Turkey about detergent used in men's underwear and how it lowers testosterone. I'm sure it's all bad for you. I made a video on how to make your own detergents out of just like a few different things. Pretty natural things too. Like baking soda and borax. So yeah, just check my channel. There's a couple of videos where you can make your own detergents and soaps and stuff. They just banned E. Michael Jones books from Amazon? No way. No freaking way, dude. I was gonna order a bunch of his stuff too. I'm gonna check that out. Oh, they did? You gotta be kidding me, dude. Holy shit. Well, I got one of them at least, but that's crazy, dude. I can't believe they did that. Fuck. I haven't read any yet. I was gonna read Ethnos Needs Logos, you know what I mean? But then I started becoming less attached to modern religions and stuff like that, so I kind of started getting away from that. But I do like his ideas of logos and stuff. As you know, the weather's hot. Would you drink fresh juices like orange juice and watermelon? Probably not. I mean, I wouldn't. I would just eat it with the fruit. That way you don't get like a big blood sugar spike and you get some fiber with it. Yes, JLo says, I would not air high meat at all. The best high meat I made, I did not open the mason jar for 3 months. Some people say that, man. It seems like you can get away with it. So I always heard that you had to air it out so the bacteria wouldn't turn anaerobic. So I don't know. Eat raw meat says he doesn't wear underwear. That's interesting. I've always worn boxer shorts. I never understood the whitey tighties. That was always weird to me. Yeah, tight clothes don't make sense for sure. I've always been a baggy clothes type guy. No, I don't sleep in a bed. I sleep on like a 2-inch foam mat on top of a piece of plywood on top of a platform. So it's basically like simulating like a floor. I used to sleep on the floor, but I just kind of elevated it up because of bugs and like it gets a little cold in the wintertime because the hot air is always rising. So I rose my bed up just a little bit. Do you think we should be regularly reading books anyway? It seems unnatural. It does, dude. I go in spurts, you know? I find that lifting weights all the time is unnatural and reading books all the time is unnatural. So what I'll do is I'll go in like spurts. I'll lift weights for like 2 weeks and then I'll quit lifting for 2 weeks. And I'll read books for like 3 months and then I'll quit reading for like 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, you know? Like right now I'm off my book reading thing. I have like literally like 25 books lined up to read and I've read so many freaking books in the last like 3 years, man. E. Michael Jones was banned from Amazon, dude. That's insane. That's crazy, dude. I didn't think Amazon would do that shit. Yeah, you can. I ferment high meat in my counter. I like to go at least 2 months. It seems like it's good after a month, but I like to go about 2 when it turns a nice like funky color. Speaking of that, I need to air my stuff out. Maven Taylor says, I've had my mason jar explode by not airing it out once. Yeah, you want to be careful about that. Fruit of the Loom underwear, all symbolism. Interesting. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it makes sense. Fruit of the Loom. Grapes, smuggling grapes. Best book you've read? Nutrition and Physical Degeneration was pretty damn good. That's up there. I also like, as you know, Gospel of the Red Man, the Indian Bible. That's a really good one. And so is Dissolving Illusions by Suzanne Humphries. It's probably my top 3. I also like Jesse Lee Peterson's books too, like Scam, The Antidote. Those are all really good too. Funniest book I've read, probably Norm Macdonald's book. Gavin McInnes's book down here I got too, Death of Cool. It's a really funny book. Do I have access to a local bookstore? I think we have them, but I haven't been to one in a while. I obviously just ordered online like everybody. Yeah, I never understood high meat in the fridge. That never made sense to me. I always just use the cabinet. If you're gonna ferment it, just use the cabinet. Exercise fitness may be one of the biggest scams and the greatest number of people. All gyms should go bankrupt. I know, it's crazy. It's all about food and diet, man. All you gotta do is just walk around a little bit. Yeah, the fruits are very high in sugar today, for sure. Chicken Jar says, I ferment my fish for a week and it's high in a week outside. Nice. Yeah, exercising to slow down aging doesn't make really much sense at all. Well, it's like forced exercise. It seems a little weird, you know? I mean, I like the lift, but I don't like to lift every day, you know what I'm saying? I like to lift just every once in a while. The high meat is the only thing that has helped my gut. My gut's severely damaged. I have trouble digesting literally everything, especially milk. Yeah, it sucks. High meat takes a while to get ready. Yeah. That's cool that it's helping you, though. It's good to hear. I go back and forth on the exercise thing, the forced exercise thing. Because I'll go like 3 months without lifting weights, and then I'll start lifting again, and then I'll feel great. You know what I mean? So I think going on a forced exercise routine is unnatural. You're just supposed to do stuff every once in a while. Like if you were in like a community or a tribe, you would have like helped build a house or helped build a smoke lodge or whatever you build in a tribe. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, cut some trees down or whatever. But you wouldn't like go cut trees down every day for 8 hours, you know? And you wouldn't like build a house every single day. You would just like do some hard work for like a couple weeks and then take like a couple months off, do some hard work for a few weeks, take a month off, just kind of do stuff here and there, you know? It's this whole like strict regimen of exercising that I think is unnatural. Yeah, and treadmill, I sold my treadmill. Walking is fine, man, for sure. Rice versus potatoes. I prefer potatoes, but people seem to do okay on rice too. But potatoes, I think, is where it's at. What happens if you put meat in a jar where there is a vacuum? I don't know. Not sure about that. Like, isn't that what canning is, kinda? Isn't that what canning does? Doesn't can vacuum it? Are organic portals real? Some people look possessed. People are definitely possessed. I don't know what you mean by organic portal. People are absolutely possessed, dude. For sure. I see this whole world as a spirit world. When you look at someone's eyes, you see their spirit, you know? There's spirits of anger, there's, you know, spirits of joy and spirits of playfulness, and there's, you know, spirits of peace, there's spirits of discontent. There's all these different spirits that inhabit people's bodies. There's male spirit, there's female spirit. Yeah, working out, you need to have fun for sure. That's why sports are so cool, because you're getting a workout and you're having fun at the same time. Yeah, our bodies are designed to move. Yep. Like, I got an urge to go do something right now. I'll probably go another like 5 minutes and I think I'm gonna wrap this up. Speaking of natural movements, I'm feeling the urge to go move around. Running is purely for survival, right? Or maybe a short sprint to get a hunt going. Suicide rates getting high among the Inuit. Do you think they make a connection to not eating their natural diet? Oh, for sure. Yeah. Look what happened to the Native Americans in America, man. They went on the European diet, started drinking their beer and shit like that, and then they just like went to shit, dude. Absolutely. Weston Price talks about that, and his entire book is about that. It's about indigenous people eating unnatural diet. Thanks for the super chat, Danny. Not going to be on the internet much anymore. Going to start going living life. Good luck and take it easy, man. I'll make sure to check in once in a while. Thanks for all the insights. For sure, man. I appreciate the donation. Go live life, brother. You're young. Go live life. Go get yourself a wife. Start a family. You're doing the right thing, dude. Bicycling seems unnatural. It does kinda, but I love it. I know what you mean though. Oh, you're gonna love Gospel to Red Man, Sylph Wave. That book that's a doozy, dude. And it's super short. That's the best part about it. It's super short. It almost makes you want to read it twice. Frank Tufano looks bad these days. Yeah, dude. I think he's on like testosterone or something. He's getting all emotional too. Delbridge, yesterday at work, a woman came into my line. I saw her eyes and they looked wild. Just open and she seemed not there, but bewitched or spellbound. Yeah, probably prescription drugs. A lot of times you're seeing people under the influence of drugs when their eyes are doing that kind of shit. You know? Stimulants. No, I don't drink alcohol. I haven't drank in a couple years. Yeah, I got a bike saddle with the cutout thing for sure. Yeah, because you don't want to jack up your prostate as a man. So get a bike saddle with the cutout in it. J Lo, thanks for the super chat. Do you have suggestions to fix sleep? I want to go to bed early but cannot. I try to and I can't sleep until about 1 a.m. My adrenals are messed up bad. Try milk and honey before you go to bed. You can try drinking a lot of milk before you go to bed, like especially cow's milk, because cow's milk is more of like a heavy comfort food. And also, going to bed at the same time usually is a good way to regulate your body and get it ready for sleep. So make sure that you're always like going to bed at the same time. Don't drink any caffeine, like no tea, no coffee, like especially in the evening, like after dinner or anything like that. I wouldn't drink it. If you're having problems sleeping, I wouldn't drink it ever. I would not drink, I don't know if you drink coffee or tea, but I would stop drinking caffeine like 100%. Especially if your adrenals are messed up, you know? And also if your adrenals are messed up, you could try eating raw adrenal gland, which you can find at North Star Bison website or Miller's Farm. And that'll heal your adrenal glands. Quit doing anything that messes up your adrenals. Caffeine, coffee, tea, cannabis. But yeah, I would suggest drinking milk before you go to bed. If that doesn't work, eat a meal before you go to bed. Eat like a big meal and see if that doesn't put you to sleep. A raw meal, obviously. Yeah, that's a good point, Zona. It's similar to horse riding. Never thought about that. Thanks for the super chat, Dell, again. I have old ground beef. It is slimy. That's why I stopped eating ground beef, dude. It gets too slimy. There's too much surface exposure, you know? Yeah, that's a good suggestion too. J-Lo, get some sun. Because sun increases your vitamin D, which also increases your melatonin at night. So the less sun you get, the less melatonin your body produces at night. That's why it's harder to sleep in the winter and stuff. Yeah, try getting more sun. Try exposing more of your body to the light. Are you aware of EMFs? Oh yeah, for sure. 100%, man. It's part of the reason why I declined an office position that I was recently offered, and I'm looking for another job because I didn't want to stare at a computer and have EMFs blasting into my face all day. Weblog, do you floss? Yes, I do. Probably about once a week or so. Cherries are good for melatonin. I've been eating tons of cherries. Tried cream and milk, didn't help. Try eating a meal. Yeah, and definitely, yeah, turn off screens and stuff, for sure. Yeah, stop watching any kind of like TV or screens and stuff like that. Also, if there's something in your life, your personal life that you need to resolve, that's another good way to start increasing your sleep a little bit better. Is get your personal life situated. You know. What do you think about THC-free CBD oil? You mean for sleep? You can give it a shot. It helps some people for sure. The pressure of the industrial grinders homogenize the meat when making ground meat. That's according to Aajonus' Facebook group. I can't tell if they're paranoid or it's true. I don't know, man. Something does seem weird about minced meat, for sure. It doesn't seem natural at all. Feeling fatigued today? Hottest day in the UK. I'm feeling fatigued as well today. It's kind of weird. Yeah. You're not the only one. Yeah, and stop watching the news, man. The news will drive you crazy, guys. But yeah, alright guys, I'm going to get out and enjoy the rest of my day here. I just wanted to kick off a little breakfast stream for my European homies. Good to see y'all guys, and I'll try to alternate between evening streams and breakfast streams and stuff like that. Get your Cops t-shirt on, get your Genuine Cops t-shirt on eBay before they're sold out forever, because Cops got canceled. And get your E. Michael Jones books too, apparently got canceled. So, y'all take it easy. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.